Hi students, this is Suchya SST teacher and now teaching you the 10th and the last chapter of Civics class 7 and the name of the chapter is Struggles for Equality. In the book of class 7th, you have read about few people who have faced inequalities at every step of life. They have fought constantly to achieve equality. And the examples of them are the case of Kanta, who is the domestic worker, then the Ansaris, who are looking for a place on rent, Milani, again a domestic worker, and Swapna, who works for the cotton growing plants, which means that all these people are fighting against the inequalities of the society in their own small ways. But we have to understand that more than them, there have been people like Rosa Parks who have actually gathered all the strength to stand against the inequality, to act as a leader, to fight against the injustice in the society, and who have set an example for others to see that equality comes in the society. Now, when we talk of the Indian Constitution ensures equality. It says that all people are equal in the eyes of law and all of us have the right to vote and contest election. But does equality means equality of the ballot box? It just means that I am casting the vote, contesting the election, but what about other inequalities that are prevalent in the society? So, in spite of the fact that the Indian Constitution ensures political equality, in India we still have to achieve social, economic, religious and caste equality. Well, there is so much of privatization these days, and due to privatization, things are going out of control, and the government is doing nothing to see that the people who cannot afford private facilities are also given due justice. As in the book we have seen the example of Kanta and also of Hakim Sheikh, who are not able to get private hospital facilities for the lack of money. So this means the government again is not acting responsible because equality is not achieved here. Well, they also talk of a fellow who sells juice. He has to compete with the juice that is branded, sealed, packed in a very attractive packing, which means they also have money to advertise. Therefore, there is no comparison between a juice seller who is selling the juice in the open market and the branded juice which is sold in the international market. So again there is inequality here, the economic inequality, which is again making the difference, the gap between both of them very wide. Now when I talk of the injustice, the inequality which exists in the Indian society, we have to see that the poverty, religion and caste are the biggest factors which are increasing inequalities in India. When we talk of poverty, we know of the example of Kanta, we know of the example of Milani, we know the example of Swapna, who all have faced inequalities in everyday life because of the fact that they are actually very poor. So, poverty is the factor here in their case. But when I talk of Hakim, when I talk of other people like the case of Ansaris who had the money to pay the rent but were unable to get a place on rent because of their religion. When I talk of the case of Om Prakash Valmiki, who was denied admission in the school and was ill-treated in the school because he belonged to the so-called low caste, is an example of caste discrimination. I shall be talking further about it in the next clipping. I was talking about the inequalities in the previous clipping, and I spoke of the inequalities based on the poverty, based on religion, and also based on caste. But there are other inequalities which are prevalent in the society, like the inequality because of being a woman. You are denied justice, you are denied access to so many things because you are a woman. Besides being a woman, the Dalits, the Adivasis, and the Muslim women in particular are denied much more than what others have got, which means that there are inequalities and further inequalities in the society based on religion, caste, community, gender, and so on. And thus, that thing which the Constitution of India clearly states, that all of us are equal in the eyes of law and all of us should get what we desire, is not being achieved by us. Now we talk for the fact of the struggles for equality. In the world, in nearly so many towns, villages, cities, there have been people, great people rather, who have stood up against inequalities that are prevalent around them. Those are the people who are respected by others, who have set an example for others to follow, who are looked upon as great men and women. They have all the support of the general masses and they also represent the masses. These are the people who do big jobs and they achieve the kind of justice which is required to bring about equality in this unequal society. Now, there are people who have made cooperatives, who have made groups to achieve what they want in life. And especially the people who have been discriminated have formed such cooperatives. There are people who make beedis, there are people of the fish folk, the farmers, the laborers, the slum dwellers. All these people have gained strength not individually but forming a cooperative, a society wherein they are asking for justice, for equality, and we shall be reading about one of such cooperative in the next clipping.